David blew my phone up halfway through the movie asking if everything was good and okay. And it's more than okay because I'm here with you guys. The cast is now here. Personally, I kind of just got to get it out of the way. You know, when I did this event 5 years ago, I told you how important it was because I spoke out about having Asperger's syndrome. And it was because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt that I slipped that out. And I just think this isn't quite right here. I think we need another chair. In fact, we're gonna have 2 more chairs, but oh my God, my mom's here, but so is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh. No, guys, thank you enough for this. I'm a fan like everyone else in this room. We all love this movie. We all just clapped and cheered. And this is the kickoff to my birthday month, and I couldn't ask for a better set of fans, but I also couldn't ask for a better cast and crew from this film. Not only did some of them come 5 years ago, you know, a lot of them returned, and that means you did a good job. And without, further ado, I am going to introduce the first, actually we have 2 duos. We have a guy duo and a girl duo, and that would be the people who are responsible for getting these actors to say these words. And that would be the fabulous writers of Also Legally Blonde. She's the Man. Oh. And the House Bunny. I mean, I bow down to these writers sometimes. Please welcome Karen McCullough and Kirsten Kiwi Smith. There were 2 more guests. Okay, so actually, for the first time, I've never met these guys, but producing is a huge part of this movie. They're responsible for casting, getting the script to screen these ladies' words. So please welcome Andrew and Mark. Illness, and she could not join us tonight. But let me tell you someone who I haven't met that I have been a diehard fan of since I was maybe 2 years old. I love Hilary Duff, and she was Lizzie McGuire, but Larissa Olnick was Alex Mack. So please welcome Larissa Olnick. Amazing. This is the first time, and I hope not the last time to host here. As you can see, I'm overwhelmed with love. But this guy gives you the smolder. He's the biggest douche in the movie, but he's probably got the biggest heart out of everyone. So please welcome Andrew Keegan. It's the best line. I mean, you wrote it. You all agree. You're tweeting it. Nigel with the braid, right? So, please. I'm interested to talk to him. He sounds like another fellow motivational speaker. Please welcome Kyle Cease.
Woo, Kyle! I actually really like that. He's a comedian. He's the golf guy, and they throw the party
allowed me to come see him while I was on set, and that truly made my Christmas. And when that happened, the plot was conceived to do this, and it just wouldn't have been the same without him. So please welcome the Joseph Gordon. All right, so we just, you heard that. You were here and heard this audience 20 years later laughing like that, cheering like that, going ow like that. Like, this is unbelievable, and it starts with Karen and Kiwi here, because you guys wrote this. This is your first big Hollywood script. How did this idea, like, where did you fit it in high school to like come up with this idea of characters? Because it's spot on.
Well, thanks, Corey. Give it a little.
Well, it's based on Taming of the Shrew. Didn't figure that out throughout the movie. And we just kind of stole the plot and put it in high school. It's as simple as that.
We also had a little inspiration. Karen had a list of 10 things I hate about Anthony that she'd written, and when she said that to me, I was like, ooh, 10 things I hate about you, movie title idea. And then we came up with the let's do Taming of the Shrew as a teen movie, and that those things kind of gelled together. And there were many other parts along the journey, like we went to Puerto Vallarta, we drank a bunch of beers, we outlined, and we started
this movie on the beach in Puerto Vallarta with a bucket of Corona next to us. That was
Nice where you said all your movies on the beach or somewhere with a cosmetic.
That's how it all began.
And also, so just to, Mark Varadian and Andrew Lazar, who's sitting at the end, they are the people who gave us our first big break in the entertainment business. They bought this script that two girls got drunk on a beach and wrote, and they're the ones who made it into a movie. So thank you very much, you guys.
Andrew, Mark, so Touchstone is an off-branch of Disney, and not too many Touchstone films get made anymore. I think the last one was Lincoln. But the thing is these movies were so popular. You don't really see them now. But Bring It On and She's All That and 10 Things I Hate About You, they're all just something we don't really have anymore. But how did you land on this specific film for and then where'd you go from there?
I was a very young executive at the time, so maybe I was just a little bit naive. This was one of the early scripts. I was a creative executive, I guess, a director of development, so I'd been there a couple of years. Touchstone doesn't exist anymore, as you know, but it was, at that time, it was meant to be doing sort of adult, non-family programming. And this was about the least family script that I had read in a long time, because as you see that, I can't believe when we watch it up there that we can't really have kids drinking beer anymore in movies. We can't really have girls, showing their breasts, teenage girls in movies. There's a lot of stuff in there we wouldn't do anymore, but when I read that script, it was just magnificent. I knew you see it on the screen, it was just something very special and unique. We always look for unique. We look for things that aren't predictable, things you haven't seen before. And when I read Andrew gave me that script, I knew it right away. I mean, I knew literally instantly. I'm like, we're making this movie. And it took a little while after that to figure it out, but really it was Andrew who found it and talked me into it.
I didn't know you guys wrote it on the beach because I read your script while I was on the beach in Fiji. Yeah, it was pretty, and I read it, and I rarely read a spec script and love it so much, because usually a lot of times you'll develop a script from scratch, and it's literally, I think, maybe one of the only films I've ever made that was a spec script that I didn't actually have, like, I wasn't in on the ground floor, and I read it. It was so evolved and so funny and so mature and witty, and we kind of went around. In fact, sometimes we were doing some work as we were making the movie, and we always just went back, oh no, let's go back to Kiwi and Karen and their words, and really we fought hard to keep the script intact and not let people screw it up, because it was brilliant, and it still is. Thank Kiwi and Karen.
So, going back to Karen and Kiwi, did you guys have any idea that this film would blow up like the way that it did? I mean, it was insane. I mean, they casted so many amazing people that are here and not here.
I mean, I guess I would want to hear from the actors, particularly Joe. Do you remember when we first met? Do you, kind of? Let me take you back.
Okay.
To 1998? I don't know. Do you remember that we had a meeting with you at a restaurant in Hollywood because you'd read the script, but you were kind of uncertain whether or not this is going to be like a legit smart project. I don't know. Then they sent us, Andrew, you were at this meeting, you probably, do you remember this anyway? But then we had a conversation with you and you were just very articulate about what you wanted the movie to be in. Just being cautious about being part of a teen movie, not sucky teen movie. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I was probably, I was a teenager and ashamed of being one, and probably didn't want to portray one, but I'm glad I did.
Now, Larissa, you, like I mentioned, Alex, first of all, it's great to have you this time. She tried every which way to get here for the last one, and she just couldn't make it out, and I'm so happy to have you here.
I lost my wallet.
Yeah.
The day before we did the screening for the 15-year anniversary, I lost my wallet, like an adult, like a responsible adult, and so I could not get on a plane without identification, so I missed it. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, yes, so happy to have you, and
2 forms of identification.
I have 3. So when you're departing Alex Mack, this huge Nickelodeon, which I thought Nickelodeon personally was way cooler than Disney Channel when I was a kid. I thought Nick ruled.
Nick's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, right? So you're coming from this, and then you enter into the theatrical world for sure, and your first teen kind of on-set role. And how were you nervous going in? Or I mean, you're playing such a sweet character.
Is she
She doesn't know. I don't think she knows who she is, but I think
sweet?
by the end of it,
There's a sweetness to her. I actually,
break her down then.
Cameron's probably the sweetest character.
Yeah.
He's the sweetest. Here's what I'll break down. We were all on the same page. We were all very much on the same page. We wanted, I actually think it really shows, I mean, aside from the fact that we were still, babies, actual children. But I think it really shows that we were taking the process really seriously. All of us. It was important to all of us. I mean, Joe and Julia and I were like applying to college. I mean, we were all very much in the mindset of wanting to make it real and have it feel grounded in something. And so, yeah, of course I was nervous, but I think we were all very much in the same boat. It was so much more of a team effort than anything that I have experienced. We were lucky in that respect.
Well, I know that Joey Donner is a character that is incredibly confident and full of himself. But I've gotten to know Andrew as he helped work on this event pretty much since day one in like every capacity. Playing this Joey Donner character, I know it's a famous role for you in your career, but you're the nicest guy. So like, how hard is it to be like a complete, well, you've got a devilish side, but I don't know. But like, the point is like, how did you prep for this role? Like, this was, at a time when you could buy Teen Beat magazine and all this other stuff. How did you approach it and take it on?
Can I say that I had the biggest crush on Andrew when I was like 11?
Same here.
I had so many Camp Nowhere coasters in my room. I still kind of can.
It's turning into a roast.
real quick. I just want to, before I answer the question, give a quick shout out to Richard Gibbs, who is our music composer for 10 Things, right here next to Malta. And then Kay and Michael from Letters to Cleo, who are performing in a few minutes right back there. I see you guys, I love you guys. The music, it's everything in this movie. You know, I was 19 at the time, so I think we were all kind of in this, you know, I mean, we had worked a little bit a few times before this film. We're up in Seattle. It's like yes, Seattle. You know, I don't know if you could tell, but I took it very seriously. So that was it. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be that guy. So, simple answer, I think.
So you mentioned Seattle, and a lot of people probably know, but some don't, that this was originally filmed in Los Angeles, like just mere weeks, and then the photographer went up to Seattle and said, no, we have to film the whole thing here. And yeah, that's exactly where I was going to with Andrew and Mark. Were you a part of that decision to move this to Seattle? Because there's not one set in this whole movie. There's not one single room they're in that is not a real house or something. And that's crazy.
We were scouting locations in LA, and we had heard that there was a school in Tacoma, Washington, that was built as this beautiful old hotel. I mean, not an old hotel, but a beautiful luxury hotel, and it was built in 1895. It started in 1895, and by 1898 it was bankrupt, and then the school board bought it. So it's been functioning as a high school since 1898. And it literally looked like this beautiful castle from Taming of the Shrew, and it just fit like the whole Shakespearean time. So we really just asked Mark, who was our boss at the time, if we could go up, and it would cost a little more money than shooting in LA, and the studio was in transition, so they kind of let us go up there, and really, other than Mark, kind of left us alone. It was one of the great summers of all time for me, because I had really no movie stars on set, just a bunch of amazing young actors, and we just had a blast. Literally, you can see how much fun we had making the movie, because there was just a lot of love put into the film and a lot of joy from everybody.
It actually cost a lot of money to go up there.
So Kyle, your role is a bit smaller, but there are no small, yeah, exactly, and especially, I mean, I'm debating if I want to ask you to say the line or not. But no, were you living in Seattle? Were you?
Actually, 10 Things I Hate About You was my first audition.
No way. How was that?
Yeah. And so I didn't have a headshot, or I didn't know what I was doing. I took a casting director class and was just weird in the class, and then they called me later and said, hey, we just want to bring you in, we have this part for a total nerd. And I was like, oh, thanks for thinking of me right off the bat. And then we got to the audition, there were like 500 of the nerdiest people who like propeller hats and like pocket protectors. Like, well, someone's obviously gonna beat me for this. And then I nailed it. They were just like, yeah, we don't have to change your clothes or your hair.
How many takes did you do?
You look like shit. They said, you look like shit, you got it. And so, how many takes what?
How many times did you have to say Nigel the Breed? Did you know that would become the best line in the movie?
I mean, I've had 20 years of people coming up to me and just do it. Yeah, right. Yeah, no. I would imagine people have probably people have heard of you, right? People have seen your part too. I hope you got as much success as I did, and I'm happy for you if you've had any type of career. Anyone else ever got to have anything as big as me? But yeah, no, the part was small, but it's how you use it.
And you've shifted from acting. That's what you told me. I forgot that. Okay. Next question. Okay, so it's the 20-year anniversary of 10 Things I Hate About You, but it's also the 10th anniversary of 500 Days of Summer. And something I personally want to know is, this was kind of your only real team film to take on, and then 500 Days of Summer was sort of an anti-love movie, but in your career approaching that role as young Joe versus then, how did that happen in your in career? Like taking on such a cynical look, but also having played such a great, honest kid look.
So you're saying like once every 10 years I have to do a movie that people actually like because so it's probably about time to get around to doing that again. Noted.
This is why I love this. No, I guess asking one question to the women on stage. Yes, no. No, I feel like Karen and Keith. No.
So, because the performances are so authentic, did you guys rehearse a lot? Like, I don't, Mark, you were saying that that's the case, like was there rehearsal built in?
You're asking about rehearsals? We were in that Tacoma hotel, and
For all of eternity.
And now, you and David were really serious about it. I feel like, if I remember correctly, it was like you guys had your thing down. Like you guys were, is my memory correct? About the rehearsals?
Serious about, it depends on what you mean by rehearsals. We were really serious about some things up there in that Tacoma, Washington hotel. No, but actually, I think to genuinely, I don't remember rehearsing, but what I do remember is that we all spent basically every day and every night together, and that's really rare. Normally, when you shoot a movie, you come together and you work, and then you go back home. And we were all, I think, because maybe just of our age, or because we were not in our hometown, and because maybe in Tacoma, there wasn't a lot for us being underage, there wasn't a lot for us to do, but we all just hung out so much. And I think we all kind of fell in love with each other. Like, we all just really loved hanging out, genuinely. And I think that's, if I had to, guess, I think that's why the movie turned out so good, and why people like it so much, is because we really, really liked hanging out together, and that kind of thing doesn't actually always happen. And this is, of all the movies that I've done, probably the most outstanding example of that, of a whole cast all like actually liking each other and hanging out with each other all the time, and that kind of thing shows through. And that's what I remember.
When you have that marriage of great chemistry with great material, it's a pretty unbeatable. No, we were obsessed with each other. I was so sad. Like, I was depressed after this movie ended. I was like, but where do I go? Where are my people? We were so close.
Yeah, you told me a few months ago this was the best time of your life. And I think that's the reason why I love it so much, is you can always tell when actors love what they're doing and they're great at what they're doing, that you have an amazing result come at the end of the day, from script to production to direction to acting.
I want to just, for a moment, Trevor DiCarlo is here. Trevor and Lauren, right over there.
I like your bird.
So I met Trevor with Heath, and I feel like, just to take a moment, and obviously as we're talking about this experience, how absolutely epic. I was telling somebody the story of meeting him, and maybe you guys can share your first experience with Heath, but we were in this hotel in Tacoma, Washington. I think we were coming back from rehearsals because he came late. We all started rehearsing, and at that time, there was no internet. It didn't really look, I think I probably had seen a headshot. And I was getting on the elevator, and right as the doors closed, one of those classic moments, and the door just stops. This guy gets on, he's got a didgeridoo. I don't know if you guys know what it is. And I can just remember, I was in character too. I was like, this fucking guy, really? Long hair, didgeridoo, Australian accent, and that's like the memory of meeting him. But he was absolutely just such an epic part of this project. And as we're talking about it, just to take a moment, and I know that you all can share the stories, but we were fortunate enough to spend time, and Trevor's here tonight, so I just wanted to honor your best friend, and that you're here tonight, and of course we love Heath, so just wanted to share that with you.
I'd like to open it up. I always ask for at least 2 or 3 questions in the audience, so does anyone have a question? Yes, right there. What's your favorite line? Not mine, not me. Favorite line, really quick.
What's your favorite line? Biceps are huge.
My favorite line was a line that didn't make the movie, which was Alice and Janney, and the line was when, I don't know if you remember the moment when the stuff is thrown against the window, and her line in the script was, "Same little asswipe motherfuckers," and they told us we couldn't say that.
You notice the line is, we'd already shot it when they decided we couldn't say it. It was like the ratings board, right? So we had to count the number of syllables, and they CGI'd our lips to say "same little asswipe shit for brains." But it doesn't quite match. If you watch it again on TV, you watch that scene, and it's a little bit off. My favorite line is, "You are so not who I thought you were," because I think that every time I end something with a guy, in my head, I can't actually say it out loud. Sorry, but that's great. But I was like, it's not over that.
So, we have the band here. I just want to say, guys, I think you get my heart. I think you get the fact that these people are like royalty to me. This dude's awesome, that dude's awesome, that dude's awesome. Anyone who is involved in this movie, including the catering, to me is awesome. And, you know, there's too many movies and too many things that are depressing and sad, and then there's way too many robot movies. And it's just really nice once in a while to just watch a movie like this that just makes you feel fucking good. And I feel like this film is a perfect example of the way that, you know, you should live your life. Because when we all walked in here, we might have been kind of happy, we might have been a little sad, whatever, but we walked out probably happier than we did, and that's what this movie does to us. It just makes you get the feels, and that's amazing. I want to thank, again, my charity, Artism. Please, you guys, I really can't wait to continue working with you guys, and guys, I do this, I'm at Movie Dude 18, but guys, my name's Corey, and I just love movies, and I love all these guys, and I'm honored to be able to do this for the second time.
I just want to thank Wisdom for hosting us here, the Wisdom team in the back. Nicole Lynch, you've been working, thank you so much, appreciate it. Everybody for coming out tonight, the Catamaran crew, little shout out to my local crew here, and I'm gonna hand it to Kevin.
Can I say something? How badass are you? Like, I like the movie Back to the Future, but I've never got the cast together and just watched a screening and...
I send the longest emails ever, and somehow it all gets read, and I get invited or asked. And it's honestly thanks at the root to David Grumholtz, and really to Kiwi and Karen, who the first people that I met, and like, I love everything, so thank you.
Yeah.
Last thing is, please, if you text it and you donate it to the charity, I'm gonna have these guys sign a poster and a Blu-ray. You can still donate, and right when I do a little mini 2-question Q&A with Kay and them, and they rock on, we're gonna give away the stuff, and it all goes to Autism in support of autism. So thank you guys so much, and I love you.
And don't go far, just a couple moments. We're gonna have a special performance from Kay and Michael of Letters to Cleo here on stage. So stick with this is what it's all about right now. Live, this has never happened before, so we're really excited. So we're gonna step off and they're gonna get set up, so stick.
On, what's today? Tuesday, the 26th. And I just want to say, I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I really wanted to be there. I was at the last one. Corey's amazing. Let's give Corey a round of applause. he put all this together. What a nice young man, good young man, smart young man. He won't stop calling me, but that's fine. I have a separate line for rabid supporters. Notice I use the word supporter and not fan, because he's been very supportive. I love everyone on this stage very much, or whatever this is. I'm not there, so I don't know. Maybe you guys are sitting in a swamp. I don't know. I love everyone who has gathered here today to celebrate with us. 10 Things I Hate About You was the most fun I've ever had making a movie. And unfortunately, my hair has suffered as a result of years of working on stressful sets having no fun. You know, when I was 20, working on 10 Things I Hate About You, I had a luscious head of hair. Well, anyway, pay no attention to the mustache. Please don't, go on Twitter or Facebook and say how dilapidated and decrepit I've become. That would just be mean. Just love me for who I am. This is a look for a TV show I'm doing. Really, I swear, it's a look. I'm getting paid for this. It's not a look. I don't know what to do with my head. It's falling apart. Look at it. It's horrifying. Anyway, in all seriousness, I love all of you, and I have tried to be nothing but a light and an oracle to those that love this film. I am very powerful. I'm a powerful oracle. So I'm like a like a large crystal. I'm like Himalayan salt. You can like rub me, and you can I sort of get into your pores, and I have no idea what I'm saying. It's 2 a.m. here where I am. I can't sleep.